What's up guys, Matt back again, and welcome back to yet another community-driven video. This time, we're going to be ranking our top 10 most desired Masterlise figures for the Dragon Ball OVAs. Before we dive into today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Don't forget to follow me on all my socials for the latest updates and behind-the-scenes content. Check out the description below for helpful links on how and where to buy the products featured in my videos. Also, join our amazing community on Discord. We would love to have you there. And of course, if you're feeling generous, consider becoming a YouTube member. Not only will you support the channel, but you'll have a chance to win brand new Dragon Ball figures every month. As always, guys, I'd like to thank this comment right here for suggesting an OVA pick. I think they might have mentioned an OVA character, and I was like, you know what, that's good enough for us to have an excuse to make this video. And I think some people might have been thinking about this. So definitely something that it may not be at the top of people's mind. OVA, for those who don't know, it means original video animation. So they're usually like special episodes for certain anime. So Bardock, the father of Goku, the episode of Bardock, things that you might find in video games, Son Goku and Friends, all are OVAs, and I think they are part of Dragon Ball's history that should be represented in Masterlise figures. So great suggestion, really fun video, and I think there are some very interesting picks on this list. So without further ado, let us dive right in. So one movie I did not mention, OVA, that I did not mention is The History of Trunks. That is probably like, I go back and forth between that and Father of Goku. I think I do enjoy History of Trunks a little bit more than Father of Goku. Probably my favorite OVA. It is just a great interpretation of Toriyama's short History of Trunks manga run. And it's expanded greatly and done masterfully in the anime. So a character that is very much sought after from History of Trunks actually received a figure in 2024, and that is Future Gohan. But what better way to start the list off than with having a base form Future Gohan? Obviously, with the Super Saiyan form, people are going to want a base form Future Gohan. The current Super Saiyan Future Gohan figure is pretty good. It's a little too small in scale, and the colors are a little bit off, but overall, it was a solid release from Bandai in 2024 for the Masterlise series. So I think it would be great to release another one alongside it, just so that you can have both forms of Future Gohan. And honestly, they can go in either direction. I'm not really too wrapped up in the specifics. If they want to give us something a little different, then maybe him in his before he has the scars and everything would be really cool to see. But in the manga, he always has just one arm and the scars and everything. So if they want to stick with something closer to the source from Toriyama, they could obviously just go in that direction. The Super Saiyan form has a removable arm, so they could just do that too. So Future Gohan is a great pick on this list. Another character from the History of Trunks OVA is Trunks himself, and he has a couple of different unique looks and appearances that you'll probably think of when thinking of that OVA. So I think this is kind of dubbed like Teen Trunks in his base form. He's wearing the Capsule Corp like sweatshirt or something. Very interesting look. He's like, I don't know, he's like maybe like 13 or something here. I forget exactly how old he is because he's like 16 or 17 when he goes to the past to talk to Goku. So he's a lot younger here. And yeah, it would be cool to see a younger Trunks. We don't particularly see him in this age anywhere else in the series, not that I can think of, because Kid Trunks is a lot younger, and then the next time we see him, he's a lot older. He's like 15 or something in like Superhero or something like that. So I think this would be a very unique Trunks to get. He's pretty iconic from this film, or OVA. Keep calling it a film, sorry, but it's an OVA. But yeah, I think especially when thinking of Future Gohan, if they wanted to come back to androids and History of Trunks and stuff, having both of these characters would probably be a must-have feature. All right, let us wrap up the History of Trunks with yet another Trunks, and it's probably the one that people would want the most from this character, and it's him when he goes Super Saiyan for the first time. If they want to go extra dynamic with this thing, you know, they could put the tears on his face and, you know, just make him super expressive this could be like a slam dunk figure for a lot of people. Sometimes people like kind of sleep on characters who are shorter, like 8 inches or smaller. But frankly, you know, I love characters like there's the Super Saiyan Gohan from Omnibus Great that I think a lot of people sleep on. And even though it's a smaller figure, I think it's a fantastic piece. So if they went in a similar direction with this Trunks and just making it super expressive, I think it would really land well with collectors. And Trunks is already a fan favorite, so having the iconic moment when he finds Gohan dead from the androids and he goes Super Saiyan, I think would land very well with collectors everywhere. All right, here is a somewhat deep cut pick that maybe some people kind of forget about. I'm gonna just say his name and then wait a couple seconds and see if you remember who this is. Tarble. That's Vegeta's brother. Yeah, Tarble. You remember Tarble from Son Goku and Friends? Him and his wife show up because there's 2 Frieza soldiers approaching, and he's like he's pretty weak. Like he thinks like Frieza is still like the most powerful in the universe, and you know Goku and Vegeta just kind of laugh it off because they're like, yeah, we fought Majin Buu, so if these guys are as strong as Frieza, not that much of a foe, which is very funny. But Tarble is kind of like beta Kaba. It's like, hey, we haven't really fleshed out a character that eventually becomes Kaba, so here's Tarble. I do like that Vegeta has a family that is still alive in the universe, and him being kind of a gentler Saiyan is very interesting. He doesn't really look like Vegeta, if I'm being honest. I guess he kind of does, looking at him. I don't know. I like Son Goku and Friends. It's a great OVA, so having Tarble from it at the very least would be very cool. All right, let's get this one out of the way. He recently got a Masterlise figure, but it was technically in a different outfit, if you want to call it that, and that's Bardock. So Bardock, yes, we just got a Masterlise Bardock, but he's battle damaged, he's bloody, he's beaten. So I think it would be really nice for us to eventually get a clean Bardock figure, maybe from the beginning of the OVA. I think this pose is incredibly iconic, so if they wanted to do something like this, that would be really cool. Or maybe like right when he gets his headband all bloody and maybe he's holding it in his hands, he doesn't have the headband on yet, or something along those lines. That would be very cool to see. Maybe something similar to the Grandista. There's a lot of different directions they can go with a Masterlise for Bardock, so I think as long as we get more Bardock figures, people would be pretty happy, as he's an incredibly popular character. I really love Bardock. I'm personally partial to the DBS version for a few different reasons, but I still like the original from Dragon Ball Z. So yeah, more Bardock the better. And with that being said, of course, a very unique Bardock that we could have is Super Saiyan Bardock from the episode of Bardock when he fights Lord Chilled and stuff. Super Saiyan Bardock is pretty much accepted by everyone at this point. It's not canon or any of that stuff, but it is a very cool concept for Bardock as possibly being the original Super Saiyan. I think that idea is pretty fun, very cool, especially if they actually made it canon in some way. I don't think they're going to do that, but if they did, I would definitely accept it because Bardock is a very cool character, and you know it would kind of make sense with him being the father of Goku, who eventually becomes the first Super Saiyan in 1,000 years. But yeah, Bardock as a Super Saiyan from episode of Bardock is very cool. Seeing him in Dragon Ball FighterZ is very awesome because he's in his level 3. So yeah, I don't think anybody would complain. We have Xeno Bardock as a Super Saiyan right now, so why not just have the original Z Bardock as a Super Saiyan? Let's do it, Bandai. And of course, you can't really have the Super Saiyan Bardock without the opponent that he fights in episode of Bardock, and that's Lord Chilled. Lord Chilled is interesting. You know, he's just kind of like Frieza, but not Frieza. You know, he's not, I wouldn't call him a fan favorite, but you know, he is the adversary that Bardock fights in that movie, and it is quite symbolic that Bardock fights an ancestor of Frieza in that film and goes Super Saiyan to defeat him, and kind of instills the legend of the Super Saiyan in the history moving forward. So it's almost like he does change the future in a way, but he has to go back in the past to do it. Very, very funny how that happens. But Lord Chilled is an interesting design. I wouldn't call him very appealing, but it would be very fun to see a character like this from a deep cut OVA as a Masterlise figure. All right, I gotta say, I just realized there's a lot of Bardock related love on this list, so let's keep going with that. And we did go over Bardock's crew from the original OVA, Father of Goku, and even though we do think a lot of them, I think a whole set of Bardock and his crew would hit really hard, I still think that not all of them are as desirable as maybe some of these other choices here, just because the variety is very cool. But there was one that we landed on that I think most people would like, and shout outs to my Gooners, but Fasha, she made the list. Fasha, like a lot of people speculated that maybe she was Goku's mom, or maybe she had relations with Bardock in some way, but back then, like, they really didn't make any, there was no correlation there. That was all just like people making stuff up in their head. She just happened to be a female Saiyan. But yeah, Fasha is cool. I love her design. She actually, for the longest time, was like one of the only playable members of Bardock's crew in like Tenkaichi 3, which I thought was very interesting. But yeah, you know, female Saiyan, it's very unique to get something like that. So I would like to see Bandai kind of spread their wings a little bit and give us some variety in terms of female Saiyans. So Fasha definitely makes this list. All right, we have two more characters on this list, and this one is our last Saiyan on the list, and it is King Vegeta. King Vegeta from the Bardock OVA, I think would be great. His design does change a little bit in Dragon Ball Super, but that is a DBS Broly type of list, which we have not done yet. So this is considering the original Z King Vegeta. I think it would just be very cool to see Vegeta's dad in any form. So he doesn't have a huge role in the Bardock OVA, but he is included, and we get to see him a lot in like filler of DBZ. So just having him, I think, would be really interesting to see. And Vegeta's heritage in general is just very interesting. So King Vegeta has a cool design. He's got a cape. He's got kind of very royal armor. He comes across as a like big, tall, bearded, rugged Vegeta. So yeah, let's do that. And finally, another character that maybe not a lot of people know. I've known him for a long time from the original OVA, Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans, before they remade it in Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2, because he was a character that was added in that game, and that is Hatchiyack. Hatchiyack is the original interpretation and idea for the Sufurians, the Tuffles. So before Baby was even a thing in Dragon Ball GT, before GT was even a thing, they came up with Hatchiyack for an OVA special. And I think it was related to like a video game or something, even all the way back then with the original. I'm not quite sure, but I do remember watching it on YouTube when I was very young. And then it eventually got remade in Raging Blast 2. But I think he's got a very cool design. I think the fight that he has with Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, Gohan, and Piccolo is really interesting, because they also have to find a way to defeat him with his weakness. Like, there's a small window of time that they have to hit him in order to break through his like unbreakable attack. So Hatchiyack would come across as a cool figure. Make him a Masterlise extra, big. You can do some glossy mixed with matte finishes, kind of like Super Baby 2's Masterlise. I just think it would be super awesome and an awesome callback to Dragon Ball's history. But that's our list, guys. Please let us know your top 10 picks for OVAs across Dragon Ball's history. Please let us know your thoughts on this OVA, and of course, suggest a next list below. If you are not sure, which has not been suggested already, check the channel. We have lists, top 10 and Kuji Wish lists on the channel. There's a playlist. You can filter through that and be like, hey, he hasn't done this saga yet. So if you are the first to do that, your comment will be highlighted at the beginning of that video, and we'll make it. But if you made it this far in the video and you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you want to join our growing community full of awesome Dragon Ball collectors and enthusiasts just like you, there's a link to the Discord in the description below. It's free for entry, so hop on in. And of course, if you want to be generous and support the channel, you can become a YouTube member starting at $3 a month. And if you want to go even further beyond and take part in our regular monthly giveaway, our $10, $15, and $20 members have chances to win Crane figures, Ichiban Kuji figures, and entire Ichiban Kuji sets. But I think that's all I got for you guys today. So until the next video, I will see you all later.